So I'm recording this video because I think my house is probably the quietest it's been all day. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Sharifa and I am the New Year Reviewer. And today I have some books for my May TBR. So let's get into it. So the month of May is such a significant month of the year. One is my birthday. Secondly, Malcolm X's birthday. And then you have another prominent person whose birthday, well, quite a few, but we're just going to stick to the one person that I'm going to read about this month, and that is Malcolm X. So, what I am doing, I'm doing a part one and a part two. So, this is part one, and the part one is going to be the specialty reads that I'm going to read for the month, and then, or book recommendations, right? Or people that I would like to, or books that I would like to talk about in my recommendations. So that's part one. Part two is the actual TBR for the month. So this is something new that I'm trying, and we're going to see how this works out. But for May, that's what we're doing because I have a slew of books that I want to recommend. Some I've read, some I have not read, some I may probably never read. I mean, I always have good intentions when I do. Well, I read all the books that I own, but the ones that I get from the library, I always have good intentions, but sometimes I follow through and sometimes I don't. But let's get into this book recommendation for May. So, the first book, so I have 5 books that I'm going to recommend. And this is, like I said, part one. This is my Malcolm X recommendation for May books. The first one I'm going to recommend is The Last Year of Malcolm X, The Evolution of a Revolutionary by George Bitterman. Now, I haven't read this one yet, and it'll be interesting. I think this is a quick read, and I think I will be reading this one. I think this is going to actually make it over to my actual book to read and not just a book recommendation. So my next book that I do have is a book for not YA, but middle school. And it's a novel. It was written by Malcolm X's daughter. Her name is, I want to say Aliyah Shabazz. Let me double check. Yeah, Aliyah Shabazz. And she wrote this is actually a novel about her father's earlier years before he became the infamous or the prominent Malcolm X. And so it tells the story of his childhood until his young adult years. And so the book is called X. I have not read this book yet. I actually got this book for my son, and he never read it. And I thought he would be interested because we were watching the Malcolm X movie, and he was just asked. This is a while ago. I would say a couple of years ago, and he was just asking questions, and so I went and got the book, and but it's not a waste because I will be reading it. X. Now this is a oldie but a goodie. I've read this book a couple of times, and it's probably one of the most common ones that we see of Malcolm X work. It is the autobiography of Malcolm X as told by Alex Haley. Look at this beautiful edition. Now, I have 2 paperback versions of this, which I've kind of highlighted, and annotated a little bit, but I would not be doing that to this one. Actually, when I got this one, it did not have the the plastic jacket on it, and so it was quite a few of my books that I was able to put a plastic jacket on, and this was one of them. So this may or may not be a May read, but it's definitely a good recommendation for those who want to learn more about Malcolm X in his own words. The next one, I also read this one too, The Life and the Reinvention of Malcolm X by Manny Marable. And the author, he is now deceased, but there was some, this wasn't mixed reviews. I mean, the book is excellently written, but there was some people that were upset about some of the things that were claimed in the book about Malcolm X's sexuality. And so I don't want to give away any teasers or anything, but I do recommend that you read the book. It's a great read, very informative. You know, you always think that you know all you can know about a person, but as Malcolm X and other prominent heroes, or you know, people who are legendary like Marcus Garvey or Martin Luther King or W.E. Du Bois, you're always going to get more information in a different story from a different angle. So I do recommend it. It's a good read, and so yeah, check your local library, or they do have this in paperback. I was fortunate enough to get this for like a few bucks. I think I found it, I want to say, at a thrift store, because I do a lot of thrifting. So, and when I saw the book, I just had to get it. So I'm like, okay, let me get this book. So yeah, this is Malcolm X, The Life of Reinvention. And so last but not least, I have The Dead Are Arising, The Life of Malcolm X by Les Payne and Tamara Payne. This author also posthumously, this book was published posthumously, and then his daughter, she finished the work her and her dad done. And I'm glad he had someone who was working with him on this project, because this is also a great read. And I truly recommend all the books that I just suggested. I've read this one. Well, actually, I did a mixture of listening to the audiobook and reading it. So, but this is also a great book to read on Malcolm X. And once again, The Reinvention of Malcolm X. The Autobiography of Malcolm X, as told by to Alex Haley. I mean, I just love this cover. The actual novel written by his daughter, and this is a middle grade level book, which is also, I think, will be a great read. I do plan on reading this because I've never read it before, so this is actually on my TBR. And last but not least, The Last Year of Malcolm X, A Evolution of a Revolutionary. So, with that in mind, thank you for stopping by the New Green Review, where books come to life, and stay tuned for part 2 of my May reviews. You have a great day wherever you are. Bye-bye.